What is good, all of our listeners? Welcome to another episode of Games and Groceries. My name is Adam.
And I'm Liz.
And I lost a Mario Kart to a 10-year-old. My ego is busted.
Alrighty then.
My pen it flew away. It grew wings. Yes, I lost to Mario Kart to a 10-year-old at youth group.
I mean, in your defense, it was on a system you hadn't played on before.
Yeah, because I was used to Mario Kart on the GameCube. And so then, she challenges me to... Because I bought a Wii U for the youth room. And she's like, I bet you can't beat me in Mario Kart. And I was like, step aside, child. So I step up to the plate.
And she scolded him.
My mic is too hot. Hold on. There we go. That's a better level. That's a much better level. There we go. How y'all doing? But yeah, so I step up to the plate and I was like, give me that controller. It was on the Wii U, like you said. I was on the Wii U and the drift mechanic was much different from the GameCube to the Wii U. And so I was trying to do the drift and doing that, you wiggle the stick and you kind of get those flames that go poof. And it was much different and I lost. And she's like, I thought you were good. And I was like, man, bring my GameCube over here.
And this little girl's got attitude for days.
Yeah.
So that was fun. But then he came home and didn't do that great either.
Yeah, so I came home and I told Liz, put it on the GameCube. Put it on GameCube Mario Kart. And then I was like, just pick the source. And then you chose the Star Circuit. You chose the Star Circuit.
It was most interesting looking.
I needed my ego up, and you chose the Star Circuit with the Yoshi's Island. Hi, dog.
It looked the most interesting.
Here's a dog.
Hi, baby.
I'm going to put you down now.
Aww. And that was his revenge.
He tapped the microphone. So, let's just get this started because we've got some guests coming on the show. They are Overachievers, the Overachievers Gaming Podcast. But before we get to them, let's start with our top 3 gaming news. We're not going to do movie minutes just to give more time to our guests. But before we get to our first segment, let's talk about our social media pages. You can follow us on the official Games and Groceries Twitter page at Gaming Groceries, or you can follow us individually. I'm at Ace the Grocer.
And I'm at Journey First. Sorry, I was letting the dog jump in my lap, but now he doesn't want to.
And you can also follow us on Instagram, Games and Groceries, all one word. And you can also check out our website, gamesandgroceries.com, where you can listen to all of the episodes from the website, as well as find out where you can listen to the audio of the podcast, including iTunes, iHeartRadio, wherever you find podcasts, but you can find it on our website. And if you are listening to us on the audio version, whether it be on iTunes, Spotify, iHeart, wherever you can leave us ratings and reviews, please give us your honest feedback. We love hearing from you guys. We love hearing what you think about the show. And if you would like me to read your review on the podcast, just email me, contact@gamesandgroceries.com, where you can give me your review and say, Adam, can you read this on the podcast? And I say, certainly. So send me an email. I will read your review on the podcast. But first you have to review us on your iTunes, your things that you can review us on.
Yeah.
And finally, if you're watching us on YouTube, definitely subscribe, definitely hit the notification bell so you're aware whenever these podcasts come out. They come out Mondays, but definitely hit that subscription, definitely hit the notification. And if you enjoyed this episode, definitely give it a like, a share. So whatever you can do to help out the show, and definitely comment down below. What are your thoughts about the show? What is some of your takes on the gaming news that we're about to say? So, with all that said, let's just jump into our first segment.
Top 3 Gaming News.
The top 3 gaming news is the gaming news that we saw in the past week, and we like to rate it 3, 2, 1 just to give you a condensed version of what's going on in the gaming industry, and so that you can be well informed of what's going on in the gaming industry. The dog is in my lap. How you doing, puppy? You doing good? Okay, he's comfortable right now. So let's just get into it with our number 3 news story, which isn't really news. It's just more of a talking point. And this is coming from Phil Spencer, who was recently on an interview with GameSpot. And to say that it's going to take years and years and years until streaming games, as in Netflix or Google Stadia, xCloud, right? It's going to take years and years and years for it to become mainstream. And I think that's a really good point from him. And he's talking about the future of game streams and how we should all give it a chance. But so before we get to his quote, what was your take on this? We've talked about it before.
Yeah, I mean, and we've said that we do think it's going to happen one day.
Yeah.
But I kind of agree. It's going to take a while because it takes everything a while to become the norm. Even when Netflix first came out, I remember like not many people had it. If you had it, it was like, oh, what is that again?
Right.
It took until I think when I started college when it really started getting like everyone had it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it took a while for Netflix, and it's going to take a while for Stadia. Everybody that's jumping on this wagon of saying that Google Stadia is not going to be a thing, it's going to fail out of the water, and it's just like, give it time to grow, man. So that's what Phil Spencer has to say. So this is coming from a quote from Phil Spencer from GameSpot. He says, let's take Netflix, which is 20 years old. He said, I think we forgot that sometimes because tech moves so fast, it's 20 years old. And at this point, so it took, I read that wrong.
Yes, you did.
It's 20 years old at this point. So it took 2 decades for us to get to the point where shows like Game of Thrones and House of Cards are some of the biggest shows on the planet and mainly watched via streaming. I think gaming streaming will get there faster than 20 years, but it's not going to be 2 years. It's a technological change. While it seems like it happens overnight, it doesn't. And I think that's a very good point. He's not trying to say that it's going to take Stadia as long as Netflix, but at the same time, it's not going to happen overnight either.
Yeah.
And I think people aren't giving it a fair chance, right?
Yeah.
What's your take on that quote? I mean, you kind of summarized it, but...
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. Like, I don't think it's going to take 20 years because we're already in that process.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, I would say the passes and things that the systems already have would be considered steps in that process. So it's on its way. It's like you said, it's not going to happen overnight. I'm going to say give it 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
And I think we'll be there.
No, I wholeheartedly agree. It's just, people need to give it its fair shot, give it a fair time to grow. Mm-hmm. And people need to step off of just like hating it just because it exists.
Yeah.
You need to give it some space to grow. And yeah, it's going to be clunky on day one. Everything is clunky day one. The Xbox One was clunky.
You don't get it day one.
Yeah. Like that's the thing. It's just like everything is clunky day one. Just give it some time to grow. And that's what Phil Spencer's saying. It's not going to be the best day one, but give it like a few years. Give it 5 to 10 years, like he said. It's going to be in the mainstream. And he said it's going to take years and years and years, but it's going to be in the mainstream.
Yeah.
So I think that's it. Let's just move on to our number 2 gaming news. This is coming from Twitter, actually. Right? Ben Irving, who was actually the lead producer on Anthem, is actually leaving Bioware after 8 years. So Irving went on Twitter to announce that, there we go. He went on Twitter to announce that he's going to be leaving Bioware, and he's got some interesting things to say, and I just want to read his tweets. And again, it's going to be a long quote, but I think context matters here. So let me read this. Ben Irving tweets this. After 8 amazing years at Bioware, I have made the decision to move on and have accepted an exciting opportunity at another gaming company. Since the first time I played Baldur's Gate, nice dude, many years ago, Bioware was a dream place I always wanted to work. I will forever be grateful to all the people who gave me the chance to work on great products with amazing people. I believe Anthem has a bright future. And we'll talk about that for a second. There's a great team working on it, and I look forward to its following progress and playing it from the sidelines. I really enjoyed interacting with Anthem community, streams, Twitter, and Reddit. Through the good times and the tough times. You are all great hands with... I'm not going to try to pronounce that. And I've been with some time now. I wish nothing but the best for all of you, Ben. What's interesting is that he said that Anthem has a bright future.
Yeah.
Does it?
I mean, maybe that was an accident. They are working on things and he forgot that we're not supposed to know or something.
Yeah. It's just interesting that he says this. Interesting that he included Anthem has a bright future when we look at the news pieces where we look at the updates for Anthem. Oh, puppy went away. Oh, he looks so sad.
He looks sleepy.
Yeah, he does. But that's the thing. It's like he it says bright future, but it seems like BioWare abandoned Anthem at this point. They're not coming out with any future DLC, and it just seems like they're trying to brush it under the rug. Sooner or later, you're going to see Anthem for $3.
So maybe they're secretly making a giant patch for it. Maybe.
And I know that they haven't come up with a new executive producer. They haven't come up with a replacement for Ben Irving yet. They haven't come up with a replacement, and yet he says that they're in a good place. It's a bright future. Anthem is going to be a great game. He can't wait to play it. I like what he says here. Yeah, here it is. You're all in great hands with these two people who have been with some time now. There's a great team working on it, and I look forward to its following its progress.
Yeah.
So I wonder, man, keep clipping. I'm standing too close to the mic because I'm looking at my laptop like right here. Anyways, so I'm going to stay back here.
Good idea.
Some distance. But yeah, it's just interesting to me. Now, I know he's trying to leave on good terms and not trying to burn a bridge. But at the same time, it's just kind of like, why did he include Bright Future? He could have just said that I'm leaving BioWare. He could have just left off with his first tweet.
He could have used a different game that he's worked on.
Yeah, but that's the thing. He's leaving. We also just found out yesterday that the creative director behind Halo Infinite just left.
Jeez, everybody's leaving. Maybe they're switching.
I don't have that quote in front of me, but I remember reading it on my phone. I was like, whoa, okay. People are leaving now. That's great. So, yeah, it's just a little interesting the way he worded those tweets. But that's pretty much it. It's just very interesting to see, and I'm excited to see where he's going to go, what gaming company he's going to do. And I'm curious to see if there's any plans to Anthem, because he says bright future, and he can't wait to see the progress. So we'll wait and see. Who knows? I don't know where it's going to go, but it's a little interesting to me.
Yeah.
So let's just move on to our number one gaming news. So this is kind of last week's news coming into this week. It's kind of this week. Twitch, how you doing?
Yeah.
What you doing there, Twitch? Let's talk about this. Twitch promoted other streamers on Ninja's old account, and the number one promoted stream on Ninja's old channel, was a porn stream. What?
And they claimed it was an accident.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But it was number one. You said it was number one.
It was
thing
the
promoted.
most prominent thing. Well, let's talk about it for a second.
Okay.
Earlier this month, Tyler Blevins, who's known as Ninja, moved from Twitch over to Mixer, right? So he did it in a very professional way. Like, he didn't say any ill will to Twitch. He just said, like, listen, nothing's changing. I'm just moving over to Mixer. I'm sure there was money involved because he's earned that money. Like, he's a very valuable person. So all you salty people who don't have his money, I'm sorry, but he's earned it. But that's the thing. He moved over to Mixer. Nothing to do with Twitch. Well, probably had everything to do with Twitch, but he didn't say that. Twitch became super salty, apparently. And Twitch, rather than taking down Ninja's channel, just saying like, okay, he's off, he's not coming back, it's canceled.
Like they would with anyone who's abandoning their channel.
So instead of taking it down, instead they used it to promote other streams, because he had 14 million followers. I believe he had more than that, 14 million followers. Most of them children, by the way. Most of them under the age of 14, probably. And instead of just taking down his channel, they promoted streams, including a porn stream. What?
Classy.
It was like like what? And that's the thing. Like they came out to say that, like, oh, I don't know how this happened. Like, this was an accident. I don't know how this got on. It was the number one promoted stream. Number one. Okay, we've been on YouTube now for, like, we've only taken it seriously for a month now, maybe 2 months. You don't just accidentally just appear, right?
Yeah.
I know Twitch and YouTube are completely different, but you know what it takes to get on the front page of something and to stay there? Like, they stood there. I think someone said it stood there for 2 hours.
Yeah.
You know what it takes to be on the front page of YouTube for 2 hours, it doesn't just, oops, it just got there. I don't know what happened. I don't know. There are measurements in place, at least on YouTube. I'm not on Twitch. So actually, our guests are going to come on. Maybe we'll talk about that briefly.
Yeah.
I want to get their intake on this. Anyways, but on YouTube, it takes so much time and effort and studying analytics and just understanding what YouTube wants. And then maybe you get on the front page.
Yeah.
For a porn stream to make it #1 suggested on Ninjas, that is all Twitch. And I don't know how that makes them grow as a business. I don't know what it makes them do to like be the bigger man in this situation. You just shot yourself in the foot.
It was the most childish
response
ever. Like, I understand that it might hurt.
Yeah.
I understand that, that happened. Things like that happen every day. Someone that, you devoted your company to and you invested in each other. Like, I understand that. That happens to companies every day.
Yeah.
But most companies don't take it that way. They say, you know what? I understand. I wish you the best. Even if you're salty about it, you just say it and you move on.
Yeah.
And, you can release things about Ninja if you want. Say, oh, he is this and he is that. That's one thing. But to do that where you're endangering the minds of children, that's a bit much. And that's just disturbing.
To me, it's just like, how are they just in their office and saying, how we can get back?
We can get revenge.
Let's promote a porn stream.
Why did that need an echo?
I haven't hit that button forever, and I feel like our new listeners...
You felt the need.
I feel like our new listeners haven't heard that, because we usually do... Rumor alert!
We haven't needed to do rumors.
Well, now it's porn stream.
Great. But... man, see, you made me forget what I was going to say. Like they thought, I think in their minds, they thought like, this is a good way to get back at Ninja. Everything's going to be pinned on Ninja. Like, no, you did it after he announced he was moving to Mixer. And so everyone knows that you're the one that posted it on there, not Ninja. Like, where did they think this was going to go? Even so, with today's technology, they could track it back to Twitch's office and not Ninja's computer.
It's so stupid. Like, it's just so stupid.
It's just, oh my gosh. Like, for people who have such a huge platform, like, I don't understand what went, like, I feel like they were doing drugs or something and weren't clearly thinking.
I'm going to end this news segment by just reading Blevin's quote upon this, saying that Blevin's alleged channel, Blevin's, I don't know how to say his last name. Blevin's alleged that his channel was singled out, saying that no other departed streamers had other channels promoting on their page. He indicated that he has no control over what was being promoted and noted that the follow-up tweet saying that this wouldn't even happen, this wouldn't have even been an issue if they didn't use my channel to promote others in the first place.
This is true. They shouldn't have been doing that in general.
It's so stupid.
Because like you said, no, they don't do it to anyone else who leaves Twitch. They only did it to him. Anyone else who leaves Twitch, they take their channel down.
It's just so childish, and I don't know what kind of light this puts them in. I don't know where they thought they was just going to go. And now they're saying like, oh, it slipped under my tongue. No, it didn't. No, it...
Jeez, you're killing me today.
I will edit that out.
No.
Okay. No, it didn't. It did not help you as a company, and it was not an accident. You put it there, Twitch. Stop, okay?
Yeah.
Stop. Like you're telling me right now. Adam, stop. Put down the microphone. Okay, I'm sorry. So there's nothing more I need to say about this. It really isn't. It's just so stupid. I saw that. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
You've got to be kidding me. Anyways. Let's just move on to a brighter segment. Let's just bring on our guests. What do you say?
I think that's a good idea.
All right, everybody. So we've got some special guests coming on the show. They are part of the Gamecast squad. That's right. It is the Overachievers Gaming Podcast. We're going to be talking about we've got no time to game. We've got no time to be adults and gamers. Before we do that, let's get to know them a little bit better with some interview questions. So let's bring them on out here. Let's bring out Charlie and Dami Pastrami, Overachievers Gaming Podcast.
It's interview time.
All right, everybody, we've got Overachievers Podcast. I will let them introduce themselves. Why don't you go ahead? Let's see who starts with the introduction here.
I'll let Dami take it, although it's Overachievers Gaming
Oh,
Podcast.
Overachievers Gaming.
God.
Dang.
Oh, God.
Rip.
You know, it's funny. We when we made that distinction, I didn't put gaming ever. He got mad at me.
Really?
Whatever.
It's okay. We started off as the Overachievers Podcast, but there's also another Overachievers Podcast. So we wanted to differentiate.
That's
ourselves.
not gaming, which is funny.
No.
But hey, thanks for having us. My name's Dominic, aka Ashley Pastrami.
Yeah.
And I'm Charlie, aka Vash. Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, so excited.
Yeah, from the anime Trigun is where it originated from.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not.
Versus Stampede. Well, we're all nerds in our own right.
There you go.
That's why
Yeah, we're not so big on the anime manga scene. We actually just did a video on our YouTube channel about like how video games ruin your lives, but the video that we responded to was how video games and anime ruin our lives. So we're just like, listen,
we're gonna ignore the anime part and pretend he didn't say that.
But
fair, very fair.
Definitely check it out on the channel. In fact, if you're watching us on YouTube, I will link it up here. Boomity boom. I'm going to write that down because I'm going to forget.
That timestamp's gonna change.
That timestamp is going to change. 20 minutes in. Boom. All right. So before we get started with the interview, we just got done talking about Ninja on Twitch and the promoting of other streams, including the porn stream. You guys are very familiar with Twitch. In fact, you are experts. In fact, you work at... No, you're just kidding. But you're much more familiar with Twitch than I ever will be. So can you talk a little bit about how this wasn't an accident?
Well, so just like a quick... recap for anyone that doesn't know, recently Ninja made the switch over to Mixer, sponsored by Microsoft, like huge deal.
Yeah.
It kind of solidified there being another platform besides Twitch. Like for a minute, we thought maybe YouTube would be another streaming platform that could compete with Twitch, but didn't happen. Twitch is still number one. But, already Ninja has more followers and viewers on his Mixer than he did on Twitch, which is wild. Like that's like a feat. That's really cool. And the whole thing with Twitch is, the more people you follow, subscribe, and view, like the different channels, Twitch like saves that metadata to like, if I'm watching Destiny 2 streams or Marvel Strike Force streams, my discovery and my recommended videos will be more of those things of varying degrees of viewability and et cetera, et cetera. So like, I've always found that like the bigger profiles will be under your recommended. Like rarely is it like, like a very low viewed person from, wherever. And I always found that interesting, but I wasn't sure if they were already doing this, if they were just playing other streamers on streamers channels before Ninja's. I think he said that wasn't the case, but when he left, Ninja's account was still up.
Yeah.
They were playing other streamers' channels and like recommended channels and stuff through it. And somehow a porn channel, which these things do get overlooked. Like Twitch is fairly strict about what they can deem like inappropriate and like good on them, because obviously people from all ages watch Twitch and stuff.
Right on.
But a porn stream got through and made it to Ninja stream. And so, you know what? Like maybe it was an accident. Like hopefully it was, but it's too coincidental of a time. It was literally days after, not like maybe not even like a day after that he made officially switch over to Mixer. Somehow on his channel, a porn channel made it through. I just find it
number
very
one
hard
recommended,
to
by the way.
Yeah.
Yes, it was recommended. I find it very hard to believe that wasn't something petty or someone like almost recommended sniped.
Being malicious about it.
Right.
Dang.
And who's to say? Because obviously no one at Twitch would ever go, "Oh yeah, our bad. We did that. We totally did that." Or
totally.
Like some like 4chan like hacker dork was sitting there like, "Oh, I'm the one that did it. I purposely made sure that the recommended video would be on Ninja's deal." Who's to say? But I just personally find it too coincidental of a time that it happens. You know what I mean? Like, and Twitch has been known to be a little, I don't want to say petty. That's like too negative, but they've been known to like
be big-headed.
Yeah, that's a lot better. Yes, yes. So I don't know. It sucks. It's not cool. I don't like Ninja. I do not like him as a streamer. I used to like him when he played Halo. I don't like him as a Fortnite streamer. But man, no one deserves that. That's just not cool. That sucks. You know, and
childish a little bit. You know.
Yeah, 100%. Regardless of who it came from, like that's not cool.
Yeah, Charlie, what's your take on it briefly?
I would say I kind of go down the route of I think it's a little bit of a maliciousness. People are banking off of his success and essentially just don't want to see him succeed and are kind of using I'm also following Dom's sentiment of I'm not a fan of Ninja. I enjoy what he's doing. I appreciate what he's doing in terms of the streaming aspect and bringing streaming and video games to more of an acceptable standard these days. Because before it used to be, up 5 years ago, it's be oh, you play video games? Oh, you're a nerd.
We wouldn't be where we are right now. Honestly, I will say that we wouldn't be where we are if Ninja wasn't in the game.
No,
it would not be acceptable. It wouldn't be where we are. 100% mainstream acceptability of video games and streaming. Totally.
Yeah, but with that sort of celebrity status, you're a kind of a target also for certain things. So I kind of feel like it's part of that. Is somebody possibly said, hey, here's a good, whether it's malicious, not whether it was through Twitch or being salty about it or anything. Probably somebody said somewhere hey, let's see if we can get him.
Yeah,
for sure. Kind of a funny haha you're leaving Twitch now. Let's just recommend, porn.
The other side of that, Charlie, which I didn't even think about, is I'm sure his channel isn't as heavily modded, or not like mods aren't watching it like they probably were when he was there.
Yeah.
So it could have been that too. Someone's great, no one's watching it. Let's just see if we can mess with it.
Yeah.
No, totally. Yeah.
Think about that.
It's just a very strange situation that happened, and just it's very interesting to look through. Like whose side was it on, and how did it get through? It's just a way of where did Twitch think that they would get off on the better foot if they did this, right? Which it's not if, it's definitely they did it, but what did they think the end game was right there? It just was very petty, and I just didn't understand.
It's like a stab. It's like a stab at someone that made them a lot of money that chose to go to a different place.
Yeah, it's very petty. All right, with that, I want to get to know you guys a little bit better. I'm sure our audience, who I hope is listening to Overachievers Gaming Podcasts. But I want them to get to know you a little bit better. And I have a couple questions for you guys. So first, let's go for the individual questions, right? First, this goes to Charlie Vivash, which is from an anime, I just learned. So Charlie, you are in the film industry. Can you explain a little bit of what you do, and also some things you would say to people who are thinking about entering the film industry and what they should look out for, what to expect?
I will address the second part first. If you want to get in the film industry, my biggest recommendation is don't get in the film industry.
Okay. Yeah.
It is, unless you, I'll put it this way. I love what I do. It took me a while. I've been in the film industry for about 12 to 13 years at this point. I got in just out of college, and I went to school in Baltimore, and there's not a big film market there. I mean, the Wire was there, and I got into the film industry right as the Wire was ending, so I missed the boat completely down there. And then House of Cards started up after I had already left Baltimore and moved to New York to pursue film. But the film industry is a very difficult industry to get into because you have to work your way up the chain. It's going to take a couple years until you are able to make any sort of money at it, and there's some days you'll be working for free or like $100 a day kind of thing, if you're lucky. And it's just grueling. You're working 12 hours a day minimum, 5 days a week, sometimes 6 days a week, depending on the job. And I mean, it can be very fulfilling. I've worked on a couple big shows, like The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel is the show that I've worked on for the past 3 years.
I've actually run into you there too.
Yeah. I'm no longer working on that show. I was a digital imaging technician for 12 years, and that's what I was doing in the camera department. Now I have graduated to a camera operator and second unit cinematographer for the show FBI on CBS. So that's what I'm currently doing.
Yeah. When I first messaged you to say hey, can you come on the show? And you're just maybe in August, I'm starting in the FBI soon. I was like, what? And I was like, and you're like, no, that's the hilarious. FBI is show. I'm like, oh, yeah, still cool.
Yeah, the show.
When Adam told me that you worked on Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, I almost died.
Yeah.
Because that's currently my favorite show in the whole world.
That is so
right.
I was like, hey, what?
it's a fantastic show to work on, but it's just unfortunately the hours are just brutal because our stage is in Brooklyn and at the Steiner Studios, which is in like the heart of Brooklyn, but it's also the most difficult stage to get to because you're fighting all of the highway traffic. And so if you're trying to get there at 7 a.m. or
good luck
from Connecticut,
yeah,
I still have to leave at 5:30, if not 5 o'clock in the morning to get down there. So it's just it's tough. But
oh my goodness.
If I actually, if I may interject at the end there, because I also work in the film industry, and when Charlie says, don't. It's not necessarily like people won't be able to hack it or anything. It's just it's a very challenging life. It's a very unforgiving life. It's very like career first, life second. I actually quit for a long time. I quit for 2 years, and I recently actually got back in the game myself.
Dang.
So like it's just if you want to do it, it is. At first, it is very magical. Like you're on set, you're around celebrities. The first movie I ever worked on was Charlie was shooting it, and we had Eric Roberts there, which Eric Roberts was in my favorite martial arts movie of the '80s. Back,
nice.
Oh my god, I can't believe I forget the name of it. It doesn't matter, but Eric Roberts was there. And I was like, starts like, oh my god, and then you start working the 80-hour weeks. You start getting yelled at. You start like.
Yeah.
All these things are it's just a very unforgiving life. So if you're down with that and you still want to do the magic, go for it. Just be ready for toughness, Yeah,
it definitely takes a certain caliber of person. And if you absolutely love film and you love to work on and you love making stories and you're okay with that lifestyle, it's great. But for everyone thinks like, oh, the film industry is so glamorous and whatnot. I was like, it's not at all. It's a lot of hard work. But it's also very rewarding work because then you work on shows and they get Emmy nominations.
Exactly. Yeah. Anytime you do something that's actually good, like a good output, like a lot of times the movies you work on aren't usually good when you're first starting out. And then when you get bigger, you work on cooler shows, cooler movies. I worked on a couple Adult Swim things, which was like the pinnacle for me. I was like, all right, this is awesome, And then after that, I was like, oh, okay, I can be done,
Yeah, true that. Man. All right, Liz, you want to ask the second question?
Yes.
This for Dom.
I was going to say that.
Oopsies.
So,
thank you, Liz.
Dom, can you walk us through some starting types and branches of martial arts for beginners?
Oh, for sure. This is great. So I've been doing martial arts since I was about 10 years old. Me and my brother started together back in Baltimore when I was a kid. We both started doing Kempo karate and Gaijin-Ryu jiu-jitsu under Master Lee Epperson. So how do I phrase this? I got into martial arts for two reasons. One, because I loved the Power Rangers as a kid, and two, I got beat up a lot in Baltimore. And
I just nodded but then you said the second part, I was like, oh.
Yeah. The great thing about martial arts is they give you like a huge point of confidence. The bad thing about martial arts is that 90% of them are bullshit. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry. I did it. Oh, okay. No.
Well, just to say your hometown is trash. So you did say.
Yeah. You did get a one.
True. I'm so sorry. That will be the only one. I feel so bad right now.
That's no problem, man.
90% of martial arts are not effective in a real life scenario. And when I say that is most forms of karate, save like maybe Kyokushin and Shotokan, are just they look nice. Kung Fu, it looks nice. Taekwondo, it looks nice. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Judo, Muay Thai, and just like run-of-the-mill general boxing that we've seen for like the last gajillion years. Those are the most realistic forms of martial arts to do if you actually want to learn to defend yourself. And I say this because in regards to striking, like between Muay Thai and boxing, you need to know how to throw a proper punch. If you don't, you're going to break your wrist. You're going to hurt yourself. You're going to get hurt.
Yeah.
And as cool as karate is, the punches just don't line up in a real life scenario. It's very choreographed. Your opponent has to be like this for you to be like this.
Right.
It's so cool. Don't get me wrong. Like karate has a purpose. And I think a very important purpose, like learning discipline and forms and stuff, is very important.
Yeah.
But with boxing and Muay Thai, you need to learn how to throw a regular punch. That's why those are important. Between judo and jiu-jitsu, specifically Brazilian jiu-jitsu, because there's a big difference between what came out of Japan and Asia of jiu-jitsu to now what we have is Brazilian jiu-jitsu. At some point in a street fight, it's like almost guaranteed that someone's going to fall or trip. You're going to go to the ground. And if not, it's always better if you learn how to take someone to the ground, because no one, you take someone to the ground and like the average person will be out of their element once you get there. And if you know jiu-jitsu, you're going to finish the fight with as least amount of injury to you or the other person as possible. And that's the beautiful thing about jiu-jitsu. It translates from Japanese to the gentle art. And the whole point is to stop the fight before you have to either like maim or kill someone. And that's why it's so much better than just like striking. Because like with boxing, to stop your opponent, you have to physically punch them until they stop, which sucks. That sucks for the person you're going against. It sucks for you. But with jiu-jitsu, ending the fight either via a strangulation or a joint manipulation means that they're not going to die, and you're not going to like, you know, splatter their head all over the concrete. So in terms of that, I would say Brazilian jiu-jitsu, judo, boxing, Muay Thai, like the best things you could ever do in terms of martial arts.
We should take a class.
Yeah,
you should. I tell every single person I ever know to do Brazilian jiu-jitsu. It is the most rewarding thing I think an individual can add to their life.
Yeah, builds a lot of confidence too. Yeah,
100% confidence, discipline. Everyone should take a martial arts at one point in their life.
We should do that for our next anniversary. Take a martial arts class.
Okay.
We try and do something interesting. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is fun. It is fun. It's the best. I can't stress enough.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking about good fights, you ready for this one?
I went like a huge monologue. I'm so sorry.
No, that's totally fine, man. Like I said, like we want to know more about you, and that's exactly what we're getting. So the fights I missed on your show. The fights I missed on your show is about pizza. Now, it's time. I need to hear this from you guys. What makes a good clutch pizza, and who's got the best one? Go.
Well, I want to preface before me and Charlie argue.
Yeah.
I love all pizza.
Yeah.
I favor some pizzas above others, but I love all pizza.
Okay.
The only difference is that stuff that comes out of Chicago ain't pizza. Okay. That's it.
Agreed. We can all agree that, right? That's Chicago pizza is trash.
It's not that it's trash. It tastes good. That ain't pizza.
Yeah,
no, it's still trash.
It's not pizza. It's good.
I've never had it, but it doesn't look like pizza.
Yeah, it looks like a bucket of sauce and cheese.
It looks like a pizza lasagna.
I'll tell you, and I'm going to tell you right now, my parents have owned a pizzeria for most of my life.
Yeah.
And that's why I find myself as a pizza connoisseur.
Yeah.
What makes a good pizza above all else is homemade dough, homemade tomato sauce, and a good cheese.
Yeah.
So if you get pizza from a pizzeria and it's oily, it's not because there's pepperoni on it. If you got pepperoni, it's not because of like it's overcooked. And none of that. It's none of that. It's bad cheese. It's bad cheese. So and that's what you need. You need a good dough, good sauce, good cheese. I like a thinner pizza myself, but I do enjoy a thick pizza every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
But where it comes from, I don't care. Like, you know, I've had pizza all over the country. Pizza in Florida is not too good, but I also imagine there's not much pizza happening in Florida. You know what I mean? So it's not like Florida pizza is trash. It's just in New York, every corner is a pizzeria. It's embedded in our culture and in our who we are. But Connecticut pizza is not better than anything else. So I'll tell you that right now.
Oh, this is some fighting words, Dami.
What do you think,
still
Charlie?
haven't had Connecticut pizza. So.
I don't need to have it. That's not true. I'm sure it's delicious. And again, I'm just being a jerk to be a jerk. I don't think the Connecticut pizza is bad because it's Connecticut. I just like, yanking Charlie's chain.
Charlie, what do you think? What makes a good Connecticut pizza?
Well,
actually, what is so good about Connecticut pizza? Yes,
what is a Connecticut pizza?
Connecticut pizza. So for me personally, I'm on the same guys as Dami, where I prefer a thin crust pizza as opposed to like a thick crust or any sort of stuff like that, just because I feel like I could have a couple more slices of pizza if they're thin crust, so it's not as filling. You know, some people are like I'll have one slice and because that's enough to fill me up. I personally would rather just eat a whole pie myself if it's thin crust, just because I enjoy the comfort of pizza. I'm not eating pizza right now because I'm on a low carb diet right now.
Yeah, you're on keto, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm doing keto. I'm doing my third round of keto.
Whew.
But yeah, it's just so I'm not having it right now outside of making my own. But for me, I personally really like a thin crust pizza because I like a crispiness to it, and it's just a lot of like cheese on top, a little bit of bread with the crust, and it's just fantastic. There's a place up here called Colony Grill, which is kind of like it's a little bar area. There's like a local chain up here. I haven't been to the famous Connecticut pizza, Pepe's and
Mystic Pizza.
New Haven. Yeah, I've heard good things about that, but I haven't personally gone there myself yet. But I personally like the thin crust because it's it's a layer of cheese, a little bit of crust. It's crispy. It's good. You can easily eat like an entire pie by yourself.
Yes, that's it.
It's not, and that's it. Otherwise I would have to eat like a half a pie and be done. Whereas like I have and they're also kind of small and personal. But the thing for Connecticut is hot oil pizza. So it's kind of like hot oil with a little bit of jalapeno. So, like
I'm sure that's actually in there. That sounds like delicious.
Sounds strange.
It's fantastic.
It sounds like
I haven't eaten yet. I literally just got done training before we came on.
Yeah.
I'm like literally salivating.
This is really making me want pizza.
Hot.
And
yeah,
I haven't had pizza in almost a year.
Yeah.
Oh.
What? What are you doing? Stop this podcast. Go eat pizza. Why aren't you eating pizza?
Because last year around Thanksgiving, I found out I was lactose intolerant, and it basically makes me want to die. It's the worst. I miss dairy so much.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I'm genuinely sorry. Cheese. I was vegan for a little bit.
Oh dear, it's the worst.
The second I had cheese, like after that, when I stopped being vegan, I cried.
Yeah.
Cheese is the best.
I miss cheese so much. I actually was on a mission to find some form of milk because I missed milk.
Right on.
Well, I actually drink. So funny enough, I only have dairy in the form of cheese. Everything else I'll do substitutes.
Oh, no,
I do cashew milk, which is perfect.
See, I'm also allergic to nuts, which makes it 10 times harder.
No, what?
I'm allergic to everything.
What's happening? What is this?
Interesting.
My God.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's a bummer. I
There's always oat milk.
Yeah,
oat milk is.
It's grain. My highly recommended non-dairy milk is Ripple. It's
milk.
like drinking a milkshake. It's the best.
Yeah.
All right.
Man.
Probably a ton of sugar in it, but I can't have it.
Probably.
So. Yeah.
Listen,
what I
Charlie.
say.
Anyway.
I'm a party pooper. I'm sorry.
You are with your keto garbage. Eat carbs. They're the best.
Liz, you want to bring us in?
Yeah. So our next question is, what have you guys learned about podcasting after doing it for a year now?
Thank God I have Charlie.
Yeah.
Thank God I have Charlie.
Yeah.
You need someone that can rein, and that's why I feel like me and Charlie work very well, because we have two very different personalities, and they mesh well. If we were both the same, it would be boring or too much. Yeah. And Charlie is like the yin to the yang, but not only that, Charlie reins me in. He's like, do this, do that, do that. Like he's a very good at directing me to do the things I should be doing. Because like I said to you, I like one of the things I really like about you guys is that you're very good about your social media presence, and we're not so much. But Charlie would be like, hey, post this for the episode. I'm like, oh yes, of course. Why didn't I just do that on my own already? You know what I mean? But yeah. Thank God I have Charlie.
Right on. What about you, Charlie?
And for me, it's mainly it took a while to get kind of up and running, and I kind of like for us with our format, I'm very happy with how things have gone, and we've actually started branching out a little bit. So I started a tech podcast before we did this one called Dudes Talking Tech, and that kind of got derailed a little bit because it was myself and 3 other friends back from Baltimore, and we started off really strong. We were doing a weekly show, and it all was good, and then life started to happen, and they all have kids, and I do not. So
yeah,
granted, I was still working like 80 hours a week, but still making time for it. And so we took a little break, say, okay, let's take 2 weeks off and we'll come back. And that 2 weeks turned into like 6 months. And so we never didn't record a podcast. And in that time I was kind of like missing the podcasting. And that's when I was listening to a gaming podcast that stopped recording their podcast because they also got busy with life. So that's when I said to Dom, hey, we've talked about gaming all the time in our texting. And do you want to just like start a podcast? And so we kind of just started.
Yeah, this was entirely all Charlie's idea.
Which podcast was that?
I think it was the Polygon one that they stopped doing. I think it was like the Besties, I believe is what it was. I really like that format, just like 4 guys sitting around talking about their favorite games of the month, reviewing it. And I was like, hey, let's just do this and see what happens. But then I also took from what failed from my other podcast in a sense of just the scheduling. All right, stop. That's fine. having that is just scheduling and consistency. So like you have to be consistent. So I say, hey, let's just do it bi-weekly. It's twice a month. We'll make it work. We'll do one podcast of just us talking about stuff, and then it has. And then we'll bring friends on that I know who are streamers otherwise, and then that kind of just blew up. Like we started having other people on, other streamers on, tapping into their networks. They started listening. That kind of stuff. So it grew from like 50 listeners at first, and now I think we're up to like 1,500 or something like that. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and I think that's what sets us apart in it is that since we do have someone on every other episode, we are kind of piggybacking on whatever they have going too. Excuse me, which is nice, but it also kind of like interrupts. Not I want to say mundaneness, but I feel like it allows just for a little additional flair. You know what I mean? And like a little help, like a conversation and stuff like that. I just think that having the guests on every other week has been probably, I would say, what's our best focal point of our podcast is just getting on.
Yeah, because they're definitely not listening to us. They're in there for the guests.
I'm listening to you guys.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that.
Oh, we appreciate it. But it's just for anyone who's interested in getting into podcasting, consistency is key.
Yes.
And also just depending on, just find your target audience, like just find a niche and go for that. Like for us as gaming, and we've even gone further down the rabbit hole with nicheness and starting a Marvel Strike Force segment of our podcast, because we started getting into streaming for Marvel Strike Force, or I did, and then I've kind of pulled Dom into it as well. And it's just we got kind of infused into that community very quickly, and then we started just producing content for it, and it's just exploded. It's just interesting to see how that's worked.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. Well, I want to speak on that. You mentioned guests, right? And that leads me to my final question for you guys. You guys, I've listened to a lot of your episodes. You're really great at getting solid guests for your show. Like really amazing stuff. You get on musicians, you get on MMA fighters, you get it all around and just talk about video games, and it's great. Now, if anything was possible, right? There's no barriers, there's no PR, there's no you can get any guest you want, right? Who would be your dream guest or guests, right? And what would the topic be?
Oh God, I got Demetrius Johnson, Mighty Mouse, a fighter at 1FC. I've already messaged him like 3 times. He's too big. But if I could, he's a professional mixed martial artist, arguably one of the best. A very nice guy, and he also streams. And the rumor is he makes more streaming than he does fighting.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Very successful streamer, and also just a really wonderful human being.
Yeah.
I would love to have on Demetrius Johnson. Hey, if you're listening out there, Mighty Mouse, big fan.
Right on.
Through.
And thanks for listening to Games and Groceries if you're listening.
Yeah. Exactly.
Surprised you didn't say Stone Cold Steve Austin, Dom.
Ooh.
He wouldn't know what to say. What's the point of that's the thing is, yeah, it'd be awesome to have the Texas Rattlesnake on clanging a couple beers like every once in a while, but it's like what would he say about video games? Well, I came through the Broken Skull Ranch on my ATV, and I threw a stunner on Dwayne the Rock Johnson, and that's it. And I was like, oh cool, thanks. All right, we'll see you later.
Right on. Charlie, what about you? Who's your dream guest, and what would the topic be?
Oh man. So I think I'm going to say I have 2, just because I've reached out to them to try to get them on our podcast.
Go for it.
And this will be a 2-parter. So the 2
Twofer,
people who
if you will,
the twofer, I guess. So the 2 that I would try to get on there is because I'm trying to pull some strings from working in the film industry, trying to get some people on who are doing stuff. So I would love to have Henry Cavill and Keanu Reeves on.
Yes. You were, yes.
Yeah.
So I reached out to both of them because I know Henry Cavill's personal assistant, and so because he worked on Vinyl with us for HBO, so I tried to get him to come on. He was unable to do it because of some PR stuff, like they couldn't talk about video games, even though because I was like, hey, The Witcher is coming out. Let's talk about it. I'm like, no, can't do that. And then Keanu Reeves' people never got back to me. So, but those are the 2 people who I would love to have on and be curious just to have some sort of discussion about like how they got pulled into video games, because they're both, I mean, Henry Cavill's been a gamer forever, from what I know of him, and then Keanu Reeves is just an all around amazing human being, and so I would love to just have a conversation with him about like what's interesting to him.
Dang,
because I don't know.
Yeah, true.
But I want to
know. Man, no, that's like reaching, and you were close too, like that's crazy, man.
We're like kind of lucky in that scenario. In those instances, we both are a part of communities that have huge networks.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, and the thing too is, it doesn't hurt to ask people. Like it doesn't hurt to like hit. Like we had on Edwin Najmi, a pro jiu-jitsu guy who's also a big Fortnite player. I just messaged him. I was like, "Hey man, I'm a pro belt in jiu-jitsu. I've been following you for a bit. Big fan. I see you play video games. Do you want to come through?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." And I was like, "Wait, what?"
Dang.
You know what I mean? I was like, "Excuse me, you actually do?" So I mean, like, it doesn't hurt. The worst thing that will ever happen is that they say no. You know?
Yeah. We tried to get on Cornelia Geppert for the Sea of Solitude game, and I tried to message her. I tried to email her, but she never got back to me. So, but she was busy doing like other networking, other interviews, and I was like, we were just small potatoes to her. So. Again, Cornelia, if you're watching, you're still welcome on here, but but
huge fan, come through.
Yeah, right. Come on now. All right. So speaking of video games, I think this is a good time to jump into our final segment.
Talkie time.
So Talkie time is a segment where we talk about the games industries and just have a nice little coffee table kind of conversation. Instead of talking about the weather, we talk about video games. So let's get started. We're going to be talking about a topic that we don't have time for gaming. And I want you guys to be honest because you had a segment called Too Many Games and you're in a film industry and you got no time at all. You got no time to breathe. And
sleep.
Yeah, or sleep. Right. And let's start off with defining what it means to not have any time to game by asking the question to all four of us, how much time do we usually generally have to game per week? So we'll start with Dom here.
Well, my answer, I do have more time. What's funny, I would have this would have been a different answer before I started playing a mobile game. Because now, I don't care what anyone says. I don't care how much smack has ever talked to mobile gaming. I'm playing a video game. In Marvel Strike Force. I wake up, play it for like 20 minutes to get like a lot of my stuff done, and then play it throughout the day. Yeah. So I'm lucky with having like mobile gaming allows me to play like periodically all day long. Yeah, so, like sitting down at my computer, like at my office desk, like turning on Xbox, turning on my PC, I realistically have maybe, I don't know, 4 hours a week that I actually get to like spin up a console and play
per week. Yeah, that's definitely understandable. My goodness.
Yeah.
It does change though. Like right now, I have a competition next month, so I'm training like 6 times a week or so, and like lifting a lot more than I am. So it's like when that is the case, it's usually when that's not happening, I would probably say like 8 hours a week. But right now it's like definitely less than that.
Yeah. Charlie, what about you? How much time do you have during the week?
I barely have time to sleep, let alone play video games. Yeah. Which is incredible and in hindsight now looking at it. But now I've since switching careers from being a DIT to a camera operator, I actually have less time to be on my phone or anything. I barely have time to read text messages, let alone to respond to them, let alone to play video games on my phone. But I am also like Dom, where for me, like having a little, being able to play for like 10, 15 minutes throughout the day when I can, or if like my camera's not working or rehearsing and I have like 5 minutes, I can go on and do something real quick.
Great.
That's what it is. So it's kind of like, that gets me not necessarily my gaming fix, but it's like gets me the opportunity to enjoy life in the gaming world for a brief moment and then continue on. Whereas like before, like when I was working on Maisel, I was waking up, if we had like a 7 a.m. call time, it's like an hour and a half drive from Connecticut to the stages in Brooklyn. I have to leave my house at 5 a.m., drive all the way down there because you want to get there early for breakfast. And you're on set from 7 a.m. to about 8 or 8:30 p.m. It takes another hour and a half to drive home. So I'm getting home at 10 o'clock at night and then I have to wake up at 5. So it doesn't really leave me much time to say hi to my wife, my dog, and just hang out. So, because I don't want to spend that time like, hey, babe, how's it going? Oh, I'm going to go play video games for an hour and a half and then get 5 hours of sleep.
Yeah,
and
I agree with that. Yeah.
So,
very quickly how to lose a partner.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, I like my wife.
Yeah,
a little bit.
I like your wife too. I mean, she's the
she's great. Oh, I love my wife. She's fantastic. She and I like the fact that she understands like my need to like just chill out and play video games, and also she enjoys playing them with me and certain games and all that stuff. But so with that, we sometimes on the weekends the weekends are reserved for gaming, but now it's kind of been talking about games, which is fun.
Yeah,
that we're doing. But there's really just no time outside of like little bits here and there. But now that I'm staying in Brooklyn, because I have a crash pad in Brooklyn, I have like maybe like an hour and a half to 2 hours of time. So like I'm playing games a little bit more. Like I'm slowly finishing up my Rage 2 campaign that I've been working on towards for like the past 3 months. But other than that, it's been very difficult to find time to do anything social, let alone personal.
Right on. Liz, what about you?
Like
I mean, we live in the same house, but
but that part can make it more complicated to play games because we share a TV.
Yeah.
So we can only play one system at a time.
Yeah.
And so I would say,
I mean, I got some of my retro games in the basement, but it's not like I'm going to be like, okay, I'm just going to like crawl to the basement and not spend time with you.
Yeah, because we both work a decent amount. I mean, not as much as these two, but but we do work a decent amount.
Right? Trust me.
And we work on the podcast, and I don't consider when we play games for the podcast as playing games because it's still work.
Yeah.
Because when we
because we also do Let's Plays on the channel.
Yeah. So I have to talk, and it's like it's not the same as just sitting down and enjoying a game. So I would say I maybe have 4 hours
per week
between work. Church stuff, like my work, your work.
Yeah, because
I work part-time with him most like in the end.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because with a full-time youth ministry, like it gets a little bit difficult just because like I'm at the office or I'm hanging out with students or I'm going to a meeting at night because all my meetings are at nighttime.
Do you do games with the ministry? Like, do you have any game programs?
Sort of. I sprinkle them in. Like, when Fortnite really got big, I used to have Fortnite tournaments with the kids.
Oh, that's awesome.
And we're having an event where it's like outreaching to their friends and like introducing to the church. And I'm actually having a video game truck that's like pulling in. And
that's cool.
And I did it last year, and man,
oh my gosh, they loved it.
Oh, I'm sure they went crazy.
They basically lived in the truck and didn't even come out for food. Like we had KFC, and they were like later.
Yeah.
Like they wouldn't come out.
Yeah. So
I'll put fried chicken in front of me. I don't care what's happening.
Yeah,
That's
right on.
You know.
But yeah, so I would say maybe I think I have a little bit more time, maybe 6 hours.
Yeah, because you're home when I'm not.
Yeah.
Because his office hours are shorter because he does work a lot of like nighttime events.
And I'm usually on the road, so my office hours are a little weirder. But
yeah, so he usually has this time between coming home from work and when I come home from work to play games. But then when I come home from work, we have dinner, we have podcast stuff.
Yeah.
And, you know, we just want to relax. So, you have a little bit more time.
Yeah. I'm just going to jump ahead into one of our talking points here because we kind of already talked about how we usually get our gaming in. It's usually through mobile gaming. And by the way, I want to talk about that. Like, you're still a gamer if you're still playing mobile games.
Yeah.
Like, Dom, you bring up a good point. I don't really care. Like, it's a video game. There you go. I'm not really a mobile gamer guy.
No.
But it's still gaming. Come on now.
Yeah, I mean, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean,
I got really defensive because it was Dr. Disrespect.
Yeah.
That like went on a rampage about mobile gaming. It's like, dude, like, come on, man. You wear a wig and glasses. Like, don't tell me that what I'm doing is fake.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I just can't do it, man. But I want to jump ahead to there's too many games dropping, right? And there's so many games dropping all at once, and it's just like you can't keep up. Like I have Game Pass now, and there's just so many games dropping into it. I can't keep up. And as the first generation of gamers like gets older, the more games that drop, and it's just getting harder to keep up with games. So,
totally.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a little bit. Like, what goes to your head that like there's just too many games to keep up with, and how do you select the games you're going to play?
Yeah, it's just, I actually wanted to make a mention, since you mentioned that you have Game Pass. I remember there's one episode, or a couple episodes ago, you guys were talking about how you wish there was a PlayStation version of Game Pass. There's actually called PlayStation Now.
Yeah, that's right. I remember stopping the podcast and I was like, you idiot.
No, it was just funny that like we were talking this, and I was like shouting at my phone. I was like, "There's PlayStation Now!" It's just funny.
Yeah,
but it just I mean that's like a monthly thing where you can. It's not the newest games, but like you still have access to a library of stuff, which I thought was interesting. But
it sucks, so it doesn't matter.
That's the thing, but it's not like the equal version of Game Pass because it's like game streaming versus like what you said, like new games drop into it. I like the value of Game Pass better than PlayStation Now. So it is technically in the same realm, but I do lean more towards Game Pass. But I think I wish there was a Game Pass like that where you can just download games onto your hard drive and the new games drop, like any kind of like PlayStation exclusive goes into
PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, kind of like that. So, but that's what I was more talking about. But I did realize, I'm like, but there's plenty of times where people scream at us, so don't worry about it.
That was good. It's more interaction, but I'll let Dami take the first part.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh my God, guys, I'm so sorry. I definitely just zoned out. Please.
That's okay. I do it all the time.
Yeah, no,
I trained 3 times in the last 12 hours. I'm
hit in the head
dying
a couple
right
times.
No, that's okay because
yes, actually.
I was just on Good Game, Great Game not too long ago.
Okay, great.
And I was just on them, and I'm usually used to like just listening to them, like I'm listening to them banter a lot. And so when I was on it, like I zoned out because I'm just I thought I was listening to one of their podcasts. And I was like, "Oh, right, I'm on the."
I think if I remember correctly, we're talking about prioritizing games when there's too many games and we have no time.
Yes,
is that
that's it.
Correct? Mm-hmm. Great. So the thing about when I was younger was, between doing martial arts and my parents in a restaurant, so I'd be working there all the time. Was my only other thing I really did was play video games, and I was playing like so many games at once. I don't know how I did it as a kid, and now I'm like, if I play one game, I'm happy. Like Destiny 2 is my main. Was I guess Marvel Strike Forces now, but Destiny 2 was my main game. And the thing I find now that I have less time to do stuff, and there are a bunch of games, is it's really forcing me to find what I deem valuable in my time and like what I actually want to devote the little time I do have, and it forces me to choose like games that I actually want to play and that I want to devote time to, just because I know like that 2 hours, quite frankly, it could be napping, it could be working out, it could be more hanging out with my girlfriend, because my girlfriend is like priority. When I get home, like no matter how tired I was, how hard my day was, I hang out with her first.
That's
good. And then I may split off, or I might just go to sleep, whatever. But that time that I'm playing that game could be going to like playing with my cats, or working out more, or training more, or like eating or sleeping, anything. So it just really forces me to determine like what I find valuable,
Yeah. No, I totally agree. It's just like I said, I just got so many like games dropping for Game Pass. In fact, we just went to a retro gaming convention. I just picked up like a couple GameCube games that I've never played before.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, and including, shamefully, I will announce it on the podcast, never have I once actually, controller in hand, ever played Ocarina of Time.
Oh my goodness!
And I
literally, it's one of I say that it still holds up. I played it not too long ago. Ocarina of Time, in my opinion, is one of the greatest video games ever created, ever.
Oh yeah, I've seen people watch it. Like I've seen it at my friend's place. Like I've seen it, but I've never owned an N64, and I can't afford the $120 version of it, because like that's how much they sell for on eBay. But I got it on GameCube.
What?
Yeah, dude. Like, there's
for
like
N64.
Yeah, it ranges from like $60 to $100. Like I saw one.
Yeah, for N64, there's something about it that N64 games, especially if they're unopened, goodness, it's like insane.
But like I got it on the GameCube version. And I was like, I finally get to play this, and then I'm like holding it in my hand. I'm like, when? When? Yeah, it's because
that's a hard game to pick up and put down. I'll tell you that right now. That is very hard. What I mean. Because there's a lot of stuff you have to remember. Like if you were in a temple. And you stop playing for a week, and you come back, and you're like, oh man, what did I do last?
And that's the thing.
There's no help.
I think that's the hardest part about not having any time to game, because like you'll hear me sometimes on the Let's Plays, because we film them once per week. And so I'll pick it up. I'm like, all right, guys, welcome to the next episode of Hugh. What was I doing? What was happening? So
I had to start writing stuff down, because I did a playthrough last year of Majora's Mask on 3DS, and I was like, I needed to write down where I was, because I'd put it down for a week, come back and be like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. But that's the thing. It's just like there's just so many games, and I can't keep track of it. And even the games I do have, it's just like, my goodness, I can't keep track of it. Like
stuff.
Yeah. Liz, what do you think about this?
Well, for me, it's kind of different, because I didn't really play a lot of video games growing up. I played the random ones, but I'm playing catch up. So last year I got the PlayStation and I got like every David Cage game I could find.
Yeah.
And I'm playing catch up. So while I'm playing catch up, there's games coming out that I'm like, oh, I want to play that.
Yeah.
Oh, but I still need to finish these like 4 that I got last year. And,
yeah, right.
Mhm.
Exactly. That's also tough. Yeah.
And I'm expanding like what I'm playing because my ability, like I'm getting better at games. I'm just I could play that now.
Right.
And so my list is getting longer, and then it's getting longer. More games come out, and The Last of Us 2 is getting closer and closer, and I still haven't finished the first Last of Us. So that's my life. I'm still catching up.
Yeah.
And things are coming out, and I don't have time for any of it. And then I end up just playing Sims because that's all my brain can handle.
Yeah. Like, and Charlie, if you listen to this episode, we talked about like junk food gaming, and there's always those games that like you always come back to. Like, there's so many games popping, but you always come back. I would say, Dom, yours is probably Destiny 2. Like, it's like your junk food game. Like, you don't have to think about it. You just jump on in and just enjoy the ride. Charlie, what would be your junk food gaming then?
Well, I used to Destiny 2 used to be my junk food game, and I hopped out for a while. Now I actually think I'm going to hop back into Destiny 2 because of all the cross-saving stuff, which we had talked about in our podcast previously. Like if we could play on our console, but also with our friends, but then play on our PCs by ourselves. That's going to be a reality soon, so I'll probably hop back in when that all comes out. But probably for me is the Division 2. I still hop into that game.
Really?
Every now and then. Yeah, it's still fun, man. Like even as a single player, like just the game itself is just a lot of fun. And so I like just hop in. You can do everything solo in that game, so you don't have to play with other people if you don't want to.
Yeah,
you
totally.
Can just hop in and do a couple missions. Like it's just hey, I want to play a shooter, but I don't want to have it like too crazy. I just started playing it again this past week because I had hey, I got 40 minutes to play. What am I going to play? I don't want to start up a new game because then it's going to go through the intro, and I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, you know what? I'm going to load up the Division 2. And you know what? It's still a lot of fun.
Yeah. I pop into it every now and again. Like, Division 2 is a lot of fun. I personally like the first Division. I think I like the setting better than Division 2.
I put so much time in the first Division.
Yeah, same.
I didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. But
if I had a girlfriend then when I was playing Division 1, I wouldn't have a girlfriend. She would have dumped me 100%.
I still remember Angry Joe once talked about his love-hate for the Fallout series and how I think he said that he lost 3 girlfriends playing Fallout, and I was just like, see, the first one, it's got to be like, okay, maybe she was not the right one.
Didn't he say he lost a fiance?
I think he said he lost a fiance to Fallout. I was like, okay, well...
Just stop playing the video game, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, how bad is your habit that someone who was going to marry you said, never mind?
And I might
also being like, how is someone who is going to marry you not know that you have a video
Exactly. That was my other thing. I'm like, what happened? I want to know more.
That's the thing. Like, he brushed it through. Like, I think it was during his Fallout 4 review or something like that.
It was during 76 or something.
Yeah. And he's like, I love the Fallout series. And then he talked about it. I was like, wait. Back up here. Back up. We need to have a full video of what went down here. I need to know.
Right.
We just got way off topic.
So speaking of that, actually, it goes into my next point here is that we don't have time for games because of our adult responsibilities. Like, we can't game because, Dom, like what you said, if I had Game Pass as a kid, if I had Game Pass as a teenager, I would never see the light of day ever again.
My head would have exploded.
Yeah, exactly.
My head would have exploded.
Or if we had PlayStation Now, Charlie, if we had PlayStation Now. But, now that we're adults and we have responsibilities, we have jobs, that's why we don't have time. However, if we neglect our responsibilities, we won't progress in life, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like that priority to say that, this is what I need to do to progress in life. And if I have time to game, that's great. But what's that line between you're playing too much and you're neglecting games? Like, what's crossing that line there?
That's tough.
Mm-hmm. What do you guys think?
That's tough.
Yeah.
I can go first on this one. For me, it just came first and foremost is, especially since work is, we work in the freelance world. So if you don't work, you don't get paid, which is, to some people, it's kind of like a foreign thing to them. It's just like, oh, I'm going to take a day off of work here. And I'm just going to still get paid for my paid time off or whatever. We don't have that in our industry because when you don't work a day or you get sick and you can't go to work, you don't get paid for that day.
Yeah.
You know, someone else fills in for you and they get paid for it and so on.
Oh, yeah,
it's
true.
not like we can't really take time off or vacations or anything like that. So for me, prioritizing being mentally sharp for work and also just prioritizing just getting enough sleep for work. So even if I have like, you know, there was the other day, like I think actually on Thursday, like we had like a 17-hour turnaround. So it's like which essentially for us means like when we have to go back to work. So we started that day at a 7 a.m. We finished at like 6:30 p.m. and like I didn't have to be at work until I think 10 a.m. on Friday yesterday. And I was like, you know, I can actually go and I could play games for like all night long and whatnot. And I loaded up Rage 2 and I was like, you know what? I have some other things I need to take care of with this time. So let me I talk to my wife for like an hour and just to catch up with her and like doing invoicing for stuff I did. Like I took care of stuff that I needed to take care of. And that was the first time in a long time I put priorities on getting real life stuff done and not gaming. And it was a weird feeling to me because I love video games. I mean, I have Assassin's Creed tattoos on my legs.
Nice.
So it's like
That's my favorite series of all time.
Video games, and it's like such a staple for like how I grew up and all that stuff. And I mean, we have obviously a video game podcast, so like I love talking about, love experiencing things. But you know, it felt good to finally be like, hey, I'm an adult. I'm gonna prioritize this stuff. This is my recreation. This is not my life.
Yeah.
No, totally.
But for me, it's more like getting priorities to career and people around me, and making sure that I'm taking care of other people first. And then when I have extra time left over, it's like, okay, what do I want to do? You know what? I have an hour. Let's go play some Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 while I have an hour.
No, totally. Dom, what are you thinking?
Well, video games for me have always been one of my outlets.
Yeah.
Of like kind of like my safe place and like where I could like relax and I like can truly be like at like neutral with the universe. You know what I mean?
True that.
But it's not necessarily become less so of that lately. I've just been like in a chill spot with my life that I don't really need I haven't played Destiny 2 in probably like 2 weeks. You know, I'm like, hey, I'm my girlfriend. I'm training more. I'm just like hanging out. You know, like I was gonna play today. Like after this episode, I was gonna actually play.
Nice
for the first time in a bit, but yeah, I don't know. It's like definitely tough to determine like. When is like as an adult like for me at least, like when I get home, like should I play video games or should I just sit down and relax, you know? And I find it more so that it's becoming more that I'm just gonna sit down and relax instead of turning on video games, which is like kind of crazy, you know, but it's also like I don't need to like dump like 3 hours into playing tonight. I could just chill out. But with that being said, I also wonder if that would be different if I wasn't playing Strikeforce all day. Not all day, but you know what I mean? Like periodically throughout the day.
Like if that was your only time to play video games was when you came down to sit down. Yeah, that is hard. And I know exactly what you mean. There's some times where I come in to the house and I maybe have an hour, maybe an hour and a half before I have to like go to my next thing, go to my next meeting or drive out somewhere. Right. And I'm in the same predicament as you are. It's like, oh, I could play like Mario Kart. I talked a little bit on the beginning of this episode how I'm Mario Kart champ. I've never lost to a 10-year-old ever.
Except yesterday.
That's hilarious.
But it's like, do I want to play Mario Kart for a while or do I want to sit and relax? And most of the time, it's just like, I just kind of relax a little bit. You know, I just like chill. I maybe like put up an ebook real quick. Like I'm reading about YouTube strategies right now. I can't remember the title of the book. It was free on Kindle Unlimited, so I was like, yeah, why not? But
why not? Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes I'll just like sit down for an hour and a half and like maybe read a little bit of the book I'm reading, and then I go. And it's just like I know exactly what you mean because when I was a kid, like what you said, video games played a big role in my life. I said it before on the podcast, so it's not like, oh no, breaking news. But like, I didn't have the best dad in my life, so whenever I had to go to his house during a weekend, you know, I had video games to like kind of occupy my time. And it was like you said, it was my safe space. But now, you know, now that I think about it, I'm only thinking about this when you just said it. Yeah, it's kind of true. That's just kind of like it doesn't really have an outlet for me anymore. Not to say that like life
it's
is
still
perfect.
fun, obviously, but
yeah, it's not to say that life is perfect right now. Like, oh, life is great, but it's a different, different context. I want to say it's in a different context.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I feel exactly the same. I still really enjoy playing video games. I'm very excited for new video games. But since I do such a physically demanding hobby, everything always hurts. So when I get home, I just man, I'll lay on the couch, lay on the bed. Like I just want crack open a cold lemon lime seltzer. You know what I'm saying?
I just got done doing. I moved on to a new program, but I just got done doing the Chris Hemsworth workout plan.
Oh, my buddy's doing that.
I've looked into that.
Yeah, it's
it's great.
It got me in great shape, but like you, my legs hurt.
Everything hurts.
Yeah, and I just want to sit down. Like that's all I want to do. Not just focus on icing my legs. But
right, and you can relax and play video games. Definitely.
Totally. Yeah.
But there's something about kicking your legs up. I don't know. I'm finding that I'm just becoming more relaxed sitting on at my couch, just not no TV.
Just not doing anything.
I'll read a book. Or, not doing anything. Exactly. Kind of just resetting myself.
Exactly.
No thought needed. But
not true that.
Definitely still find enjoyment in the video games, and I always will. But different parts in your life.
Yeah, Charlie. What about you? Talking about this, how games are no longer your sort of outlet in a different context, though. What's your take on this?
Did I already?
He already went.
Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't know if you talked about what me and Don were connecting with. Now we're best buddies, but
yeah. Oh, okay.
I was just trying to see if me and you, Charlie, could be.
Man, you're dead to me.
My goodness.
Just kidding.
Just in terms of outlet, I mean, it kind of goes hand in hand what I said earlier about just having the time for it. But I feel I kind of agree with what Dom said earlier. Just if it wasn't for the fact that I have access to a game that I really enjoy on my phone all the time, I'm able to continue to play it all the time throughout the day. That allows me to kind of focus on other things when I get home. So it's not it's not like I feel like I'm missing out because I'm still able to play, even if it's for maybe an hour throughout the day of my crazy work schedule. But it's not like I get home I have to relax, I have to play video games, I have to know what's happening with this. But, I still get through it. But if there's a game that I'm really hooked on, I'll play. I played through all of Days Gone. I platinum that. For me, platinuming and finishing a game is what I really love to do. But just because it makes me feel like I've accomplished, I've gotten my money's worth out of it. And I don't know. I just kind of like the trophy system. Where I kind of wish Nintendo would do something similar for a trophy system. I'll never stop playing Nintendo games.
Yeah,
but. Normally these days, I'll just I have GameFly, and so I'll try different games that come in, and I'll play it on easy just to experience the story and just to see if I enjoy it, and also not just be stressed out about it too, because it's really supposed to be relaxing.
Yeah.
So I'll just go through. I think right now I have The Occupation.
Yeah. No,
that just came out to me, but.
And there's nothing wrong with playing a game on easy either. We're talking about mobile games and playing on games on easy. Totally. I was playing Resident Evil 2 on easy first, for the Let's Play.
Same, dude. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Same. I don't care if it makes me a scrub for playing on easy. That game is terrifying, and I don't want 30,000 zombies every 5 seconds to just maul me. All right.
Yeah.
100% agreed. I'm with you, my guy.
Yeah.
Get good, dummy.
And
I am good, fool.
Yeah. And I stopped doing the Let's Play on the channel just because I felt like there was too much dead air, me just thinking about what I'm going to do next. But when I first played, I was just listen, I got too much stuff to think about right now. I got to talk to the camera. I got to avoid zombies. I got to put jukes on zombies. There's nothing wrong with doing anything on easy, but yeah. But wrapping up our conversation here, we kind of talked a little bit about what games we kind of gravitate towards, right? We kind of gravitate towards the games that we kind of grind in, or kind of mobile games. But really trying to think about it, now that we have less time to game, if a game was marketing to you, right? What sort of games do you gravitate towards? What's some descriptions of games that would be you know what? I would gravitate towards that. That's a game that I would prioritize in my life. What do you guys think?
That's a very interesting and kind of tough question.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I'm the master of questions. No, I'm just kidding.
My
I'm the river. Yeah.
And so humble with it too.
Oh yeah, he's super humble.
Yeah.
It's right. I flex every picture I take, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, right on.
Man, I actually don't know.
Yeah. Charlie, you got an answer for us?
Yeah, so RPGs are my kind of thing. I kind of like action RPGs and a little bit of strategy games, but games that I've been navigating towards lately, and I'm I guess like action RPG more my thing that I like to do with like doing things and it kind of levels up. It kind of can progress even a little bit even there. That's why it's funny how you said earlier when you said that you come home and just play around in Mario Kart or whatever.
Yeah.
I can't necessarily find myself doing that because with Mario Kart I don't find a sense of progression, and so I kind of like progression. So anything that'll progress for me is is up my alley.
Take a couple steps.
Exactly. So even if I can only put like half an hour in, I'm at least like leveling up a tiny little bit that helps me out later on when I'm able to, or running quests, or getting gear with the division or something like that. If I can only do a little bit, that's what I want to do. But there's a game coming out that actually I think Dom and I are going to talk about tomorrow on our actual podcast. I'm very excited for because I played probably about 40 hours on PC. It's Black Desert Online. I don't know if you guys have heard about this.
Yep. It looks beautiful.
And, it looks great. I had no idea it was coming to console, and I'm very excited to play that on console.
Yeah.
And I think I might actually buy or pre-order the Founders Edition and just chip away at it a little bit here and there. And that's the kind of stuff that I like to do, because like an MMO type game like that, I can just chip away at my leisure. I don't have to. I'm not concerned about time restraints. Like I don't have to beat it in X amount of days or spend a little bit, like just a little bit here and there, and it's fine.
Right.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And the reason why I was like excited for that is I played Terra when it was free.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And I had a really good time with that, and they really made that very accessible on console. So we'll see what happens with that.
Dang.
Yeah.
What about you, Dom?
Well, the funny thing about me and video games is I'm totally a creature of habit. And like, if it's any Zelda, any Gears of War, any Halo, any StarCraft, I'll play those till like the cows come home for the rest of eternity.
I am the same way.
Seriously, like Gears of War 13. I don't care if it's the same story.
Right
but like
on.
only because of like, not only, but like harshly because of nostalgia purposes and reasons. But like, I very much enjoy like kooky sci-fi. Like I like hard sci-fi novels and like any like weird sci-fi games that come out. Like I if a trailer was, what's the new Kojima game coming out? Anyone know the top of their head?
Death Stranding.
Yes, like that. It might not be necessarily sci-fi per se, but like, yo, that's crazy story. I'm like really excited for it. So like anything with like a cool kooky story, totally into.
Yeah, and if they market it's like the way Death Stranding is marketing itself, it's just like really poking at your curiosity, like
right, exactly. And that's what it is now as an adult, without like it's like a good trailer. If I'm watching a movie trailer and it leaves me at the end asking like, oh, what's like, oh my god, like the curiosity is peaked, totally, like 100%.
Oh, totally. No, I 100% agree with that.
Yeah,
especially with Gears 5 coming out. I know that I wasn't big on the Gears 4 ending, but I'm like,
same.
Yeah, but I'm the same way.
Play it.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, especially since it's coming on Game Pass, I'm like, I'm gonna play it. Like,
100%.
Yeah, totally.
Like seriously, you could tell me, you can give me the same story. The Locusts have come back like for like the 12th time.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, all right, Dom, let's go. R.I.P.
Yeah. Right on.
Spoilers.
Like, oh god, Gears of War 3 has been out for a long time. That's like saying spoilers and like Darth Vader's father. All right. Like, no, that's not how that works.
Spoilers.
Definitely. Oh, shut up.
Liz, save us. So what
God, I hate you.
what games are you going for?
I mean, and we've discussed this on the podcast a few times. I tend to gravitate towards the narrative ones where it's just kind of like
your David Cage's, yeah.
Yeah, like it's more discovery. Like I don't need a ton of skill, so I don't really need to think too hard. Just things that I can just kind of. It's like a movie. I mean, I love TV and like TV shows, movies, everything. Like I can binge watch for days and be perfectly fine. So games like that where I more of get to discover things like in Life is Strange, where you look around and looking around is important.
Yeah.
Things
fair. Like that. I mean, I do enjoy some that involve some skill because I like feeling good about myself.
Yeah.
But I do tend to gravitate towards the ones that are narrative driven and just you can take your time and really get to know the world you're in.
Yeah.
Right.
And for me, I would think that I gravitate more towards the shorter indie titles.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I love.
Yep.
Yeah. Because if it's a game like Hue, Unravel, The Gardens Between, like if it's like a short 4-hour, like Oxenfree, I absolutely adore Oxenfree. But if it's like a shorter indie title that has like really good art style, like that's what I gravitate towards, because it doesn't take too much time. It doesn't cost that much money. And, I really enjoy my time with that. And it's like a thin sliced pizza. I can consume more of it without feeling bad about myself. Does that make sense?
I saw the callback.
Yeah.
Like
Good job.
That's why I like thin sliced pizzas. I can eat a whole pie without feeling fat.
Oh, okay.
Very fair. Very fair point.
But yeah, definitely because I have less time, I'll gravitate towards those shorter games. And I like how it's going to like an indie dev that really worked hard on this too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I haven't pre-ordered it yet, but like I will be getting probably WoW Classic. And I haven't played like a real MMO in a long time.
Yeah.
But I'm like super curious about playing WoW Classic, like playing that old school WoW again.
Yes.
And I know it's a game that I could sit there and grind it for 8 hours, but also like I don't care. I'll like log in and like farm some stuff for like an hour or so here every once in a while. Like it doesn't have to be anything crazy, but I'm like, yeah, I feel you. Like shorter things, but like also things like that's grindable. That's not, I don't have to like be fast in the grind or anything. So like,
yeah, exactly. Like I feel like if you're in certain grindy games, if you're not keeping up with everybody who's grinding, you're falling behind. That's why I don't play Apex Legends anymore. Cause I played a lot when it first came out. And then I stopped because, I didn't have a lot of time. And I tried to jump back in. Everybody else is just like
so good.
Yeah, they're on another level. I'm like, well, I missed my chance. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Gotta go play Mario Kart, I guess. But
we talked about that with our last podcast guest about like how like if you don't keep up with it, it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's terrible.
If you take a day off, it sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. Like if you even take a day off, if you take a lunch break, you're done for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, just kind of like putting a little bow on this conversation. I think what we're all trying to say here is that as time goes on, the less time we'll probably have because, a lot of us will get married. Then the little bambinos like just come crawling out. And, then you got all those dogs that I don't know. But
what
like
language are you speaking?
But
Bambinos, he taught the language of my people.
Yeah, bambinos.
Gabagool. Adopt.
Oh my
god! All right, now you're being insensitive to me.
But the less time we're gonna have, but that doesn't mean you need to drop video games outright. You just need to enjoy the hobby with the little time that you have, whether it be 10 minutes or 10 hours.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I had 10 hours,
that would be amazing.
Yeah. But it's just enjoying the hobby, just in the little time you have. And I think we can all agree that we're not trying to say just drop video games outright because you're just going to have less time. It's just, enjoy it in the little time you have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
totally.
Prioritize. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
100%.
Any other closing thoughts before we close it out?
No, can we do a little plug for our stuff or?
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah.
I was definitely going to give you that opportunity. I just didn't want to say you got no more closing thoughts. Bye. But
you got no more comments.
Yeah.
Well, closing thought. I'll back off of. I'll piggyback off of what you said. Just the finding time is just with all of these games that are coming out these days. One thing I would say is don't feel pressured to have to play everything because maybe 6 months or a year down the road there's all these games that are coming out now. Maybe they'll be on sale for $10 a year from now.
Totally.
Yes.
So just if there's, I feel like there sometimes is an influx of all these things get shoved into the market and it's overwhelming. It's well, I want to play this game or I have this game to play. I don't know what to play. It's just it's okay.
Yeah.
To not play everything at once.
Yeah. You're not trying to prove anything. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we kind of all of us here, I kind of have to report on all this stuff and kind of have to try it out and see what it is for that sake. But still, it's I'm still playing games from, last year. It's fine. Yeah. I still find things on the PlayStation Store. Oh, hey, do you know what? This game is out now for $5. I'll try out Andromeda for $3. Sure, why not?
Nice.
Even though it was terrible, but still.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah. Dom, any other closing thoughts?
Video games, unless you're pro and being sponsored and playing, just relax, have fun playing them. They're not, they're gonna be there when you wake up. You're not, no one's paying you to be there, so don't worry about winning all the time. Just make it less pressure on yourself and playing video games. Just enjoy the ride.
I like it.
Yeah.
All All right, guys, this was a great conversation about having no time to game. As
I could have spent this last hour and a half gaming.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, we don't have time to game because we're recording a podcast. So thanks again for watching. But, you know where to find us. You know where to find us on Twitter. If you don't know, just rewind back to the first minutes. So we're going to give the red carpet to our buddies at Overachievers Gaming Podcast. Guys, take it away. Where can we find you?
You gonna do it, Charlie?
I'll do it. Okay. You can find us on Instagram at og.podcast, Twitter at overachieversp. We have all of our episodes on beanoverachiever.com. We are also on Patreon. We have Discord.
So many things.
All that fun stuff. So many things. We also do like a live studio audience for when we record with guests from Marvel Strike Force. And so maybe I'll give you a link if anybody wants to come in and check that out. That's our Discord that takes us to our Marvel Strike Force Alliance, the cluster alliance that we are a part of. So if you want to check out Marvel Strike Force, you can find myself at twitch.tv/Vash. It's VVASH, or with Ashy Pastrami, it's twitch.tv/Ashy Pastrami.
Boom.
ASHI Pastrami.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, I will have it in the description of this podcast, both the audio and the YouTube channel. Anything else we can find you for?
I don't know. I think that's
pretty good. If you want cats and flexing photos, you know.
Yeah, you want flexing photos, or if you want to see a little behind the scenes of film stuff. I need to actually be better at posting more stuff. I just haven't had time that we were talking about.
Yeah.
All that free time that we don't have. That's just Instagram.com/Vash, VVASH. I'm Vash pretty much everywhere.
Right on. All right.
But yeah, thanks guys for having us on. It was a blast.
Thank you so much.
I'm glad that we could.
Yeah.
Glad to have you guys on our podcast and talk about that.
Anytime. Just hit me up. You're actually on my Discord too, so you just hit us up anytime. So
cool.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for coming on the podcast. Honestly, this is a really great conversation, really chill conversation. So we thank you guys for being on this. And other than that, thanks you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening, and definitely give us a rate and review. What do you think about this podcast? If you're watching us on YouTube, comment down below. What were your thoughts? How do you get your gaming in? And with that said, we will see you in the next week.
Bye.
Peace.
Oh.
No ear horns, Tom?